When you use ChatGPT, Google Search, or your iPhone's camera, you are not just using software. You are tapping into a secret arms race fought with custom silicon. The biggest tech companies are spending billions not on apps, but on building their own AI brains. This is the story of why Nvidia, Google, Apple, and Amazon are all becoming chipmakers. AI isn't the software war you see, but a trillion-dollar hardware race. And that generic math processor is exactly the problem. Think about it, running endless AI calculations on a brain designed for everything is cripplingly inefficient. It is like trying to win a drag race with a family sedan. So, companies are building custom silicon, bespoke brains engineered from the ground up just for AI's unique workload. It's the only way to get the raw speed they need. Here's what's really happening. That analogy of a supercharged graphics card nails it. Your brain's general purpose, but a GPU is designed for a flood of simple tasks. AI demands that same parallel architecture on a monumental scale. The key insight is that raw processing power alone is useless unless the entire architecture is custom forged to channel it. That's the silicon arms race. Because if you do not, you are shackled to someone else's roadmap and price tag. Building custom silicon is brutally hard, but the alternative is a permanent, crippling dependency. This isn't about faster chips, it's about sovereignty. The company that owns the brain owns the future, full stop. Everything else is just renting it from their competitor. Stop. This next part changes everything. Building on that, forget chatbots, this trillion-dollar secret isn't in the software. Nvidia found itself sitting on the perfect engine for the AI revolution. The core architecture of their graphics chips, designed for parallel processing in games, turned out to be exactly what's needed to train massive neural networks. It was a staggering technological coincidence that handed them an unshakable lead. But how does a hardware lead become an unbreakable monopoly? The key insight is that Nvidia did not just sell better shovels, they built the entire gold rush town around them. By creating CUDA, they made it insanely easy for developers to build on their chips, but virtually impossible to leave. What this means is that their real fortress is made of code. What if I told you Nvidia's new role makes them unstoppable? The fortress is now structural. Major corporations are no longer buying components, they are procuring entire AI factories. The pattern clearly indicates Nvidia has shifted from a supplier to a foundational utility. Here's what's really happening. They've locked in the architecture of this entire era, ensuring every dollar spent on AI flows through their ecosystem. Here's where most people completely miss the point. Building on that, this isn't about code, it is a trillion-dollar race for physical power. The financial pressure was immense. Every query processed, every AI model trained on Nvidia hardware meant sending billions to a competitor. So Google made a radical pivot. They engineered silicon from the ground up. This wasn't just about better performance, it was a declaration of technological independence to secure their entire empire. They did not just build a chip. They built a moat. The TPU is engineered to run Google's specific AI workloads with brutal efficiency, creating a performance wall that external hardware cannot scale. This isn't just speed, it is sovereignty, locking their most advanced models into an architecture they completely control. The cloud itself becomes their competitive fortress. Think of a castle, but with a unique twist. Its walls are constructed from a specialized stone found nowhere else, making its strongest weapons completely unusable beyond its gates. That's the TPU. Google designed a kingdom where its most powerful AI models can only truly reign supreme on their own sovereign ground. They built a throne room that no competitor can easily enter. Most people skip this part. That's exactly why they stay stuck. Building on that, forget the code, this is a trillion-dollar fight over silicon. This is the ultimate moat. That custom silicon isn't just efficient, it is an exclusive platform. While others scramble for cloud access, Apple has a private, instant AI brain in a billion pockets. The pattern is clear: control the hardware, control the AI's speed, privacy, and destiny. This is a staggering strategic head start. Consider this permanent advantage for Apple. The neural engine isn't just a feature, it's an insurmountable barrier. You cannot replicate this advantage with software or a server farm. This silicon creates a permanent performance chasm where Apple can innovate in real time, on device, while others are fundamentally limited by the physics of network latency and shared infrastructure. But if you cannot copy it, what's the actual playbook for competitors? The answer reveals a deeper flaw. They are now forced into a reactive, commoditized battle over raw specs, while Apple controls the entire narrative of intelligence. This engine does not just compute faster, it shifts the entire definition of what a powerful device even is. This is the detail that separates beginners from practitioners. Building on that, forget AI software, the trillion-dollar chip war is the real story. But Microsoft is countering with its own secret weapon, massive, custom AI silicon designed for Azure. The pattern clearly indicates a strategic shift from renting standard hardware to owning the foundational technology. What this means is that the cloud is no longer just a utility, it is becoming the new, exclusive battlefield for computing supremacy. And Amazon is not just watching. While Microsoft built Maya for AI workloads, Amazon's Graviton chips are designed for something equally ruthless, dominating the high-volume, general-purpose cloud compute that drives the entire internet. The insight is clear: owning the silicon is no longer optional, it is the only way to control margins, performance, and the entire future of the cloud stack. But this race has a startling consequence. For the first time, the most advanced chips aren't in your laptop or a phone. They're locked inside giant data centers. What this means is that the ultimate power over AI is shifting from the device in your hand to the platform you are forced to rent from. If you have been skimming, now is the time to pay full attention. Building on that, forget the AI hype. The real war is in the hardware. Imagine the invention of the printing press. Gutenberg didn't just own a machine, he controlled the very pace at which knowledge could spread. Today, the race to own the most advanced AI chips is that same power struggle. The key insight is that this silicon is the new press, dictating the speed, accessibility, and ultimate cost of our collective intelligence. This is about more than quarterly earnings. The real prize is the architectural blueprint of our digital world. Whoever controls these foundational chips controls the terms, dictating not just what's possible, but what is even allowed to be built. What this means is an absolute command over the next century's innovation. Lose this fight, and you become a permanent tenant on someone else's platform. Think of the entire digital economy. Now imagine owning the foundation it's all built upon. This isn't about selling chips, it is about possessing the ultimate leverage. Every app, every service, every piece of data must ask permission from your architecture. Win, and you set the rules. Lose, and you are just following someone else's playbook for the next 50 years. Everything covered so far leads to this single idea. AI's explosive growth made generic computer chips obsolete, forcing tech giants to build their own. This isn't just about performance, it is a strategic war for control, profit, and the future tech stack. The result, a fragmented but hyper-competitive landscape that will define the next decade of innovation. Let me know in the comments which company you think has the best strategy in this chip war.